Welcome to ITL Trainer Talk. Today we're speaking to Kevin Dunn of Test Football Academy. Kevin's been an integral part of the combine prep landscape for 2 decades and has been part of the ITL family for almost as long. In those 2 decades, KD has carved out an established place in the business in an area where you don't always think of combine prep, New Jersey. Though his business is not based in a sexy place, Test continues to grow, adding locations and training future NFL stars every year. Kevin's also a pioneer in position-specific training, and every year has several recognizable names on staff to teach players the finer points of the game. This year, former Giant Eric Dorsey is teaching pass rush, while ex-Giant Rich Soibert will teach offensive line. Kevin has brought in dozens of former Jets, Giants, and other athletes to work with his combine prep clients in the past, and today, position-specific training is an established, expected part of training across the country. Kevin, how you doing?
Doing well, Neil. How are you?
Doing great, buddy. All right, we talked about position-specific training as an aspect of combine prep that's become accepted everywhere now. What kinds of other innovations do you see coming to that arena to this arena in the coming years?
Well, I think across the board you got facilities all across the country now that say they do combine training, right? I mean, you can Google it now and probably find several thousand locations across the country that say they do it. A lot of what we wanted to do when we originally built this building was really take a look at the necessities of a program. And what I think a lot of places would consider like special features, we consider the basics, right? So, having a facility where you have all of your team, your best team assembled under one roof, where you can have your physicians, your physical therapy group, your chiropractors, your massage therapists, your performance coaches, your position coaches, all of those things being integrated all at one time and under one place is incredibly valuable. We're not just sending emails or text messages back and forth from office to office. We literally go to the person and meet them eye to eye to talk to them about how we can take some players who may have been banged up from a very long season, and not only a long season, but a long career, and then come to us and try to, take care of situations where they don't continue to be issues long-term. So I think that's, it's pretty big. We see technology being more and more innovative within our industry as well. There are some things that are definitely overkill that are out there. Sure. Some things that, just don't make really much sense in terms of investment with your dollar versus what you get out of it. But things like heart rate tracking and having apps delivered to each player when they arrive, so that they can track not only their heart rate during the workout, but they can go back after the workout is done and see what their peak heart rate was, what their max heart rate was, what their average was, how many calories they burned. And that gives an incredible piece of information to our nutrition team, because then we can say, all right, nutritionist says we need to uptick your calories based on 3 workouts a day versus 2 workouts a day, or a regen day. We give specific calorie counts per day based on what they're burning per day. And it's no longer guesswork. We're not guessing with that anymore. We don't have to. The technology that's out there is allowing us to, make these kinds of decisions. And, to us last year, we were able to yield a response where guys lost 1.5 pounds of body fat and put on 1.5 pounds of muscle every single week. So if they were with us for, 6 weeks, that was an 18-pound swing on average. We had guys, we had Jermaine Carter out of Maryland last year that literally had a 40-pound swing in an 8-week period. So we're very excited about, that opportunity. I think technology is definitely playing a part of that. We see that more and more, even with our film review. We've got literally 2 flat screens, 65-inch flat screens up on our field now, which is all indoor because we're in sexy Jersey. But they're both Apple TV compatible, and we've got our iPhones out and we're throwing everything up on those screens, so we can, we only have a very limited amount of time to make significant changes. And, one of the things that I think makes a good coach a great coach is to explain what things are supposed to feel like. And when you do a rep and then you can immediately see it up on the screen, the sooner you watch that rep after you did it, you can then correlate what that rep just felt like to what is actually supposed to happen. And that teaching curve becomes so much more realistic and so much faster which allows us to get better results, out of guys, getting better times and making more money.
Sure. No, great points. Great points. All right. So, Katie, when you look at everything that Test offers its athletes, it's clear that biomechanics, orthopedics, sports medicine are all a big part of what y'all offer. Why is that? And how does that medical focus benefit your athletes?
Well, I mean, the guys that end up getting the opportunity to get a combine invite, the entire first day is spent in the hospital, right? I mean, so you're there for 3 days, one full day, a third of the combine is medical. So for us, we wanted to make sure that we have a full medically integrated team that's built into the performance program. So one of the gentlemen that we've been utilizing for almost a decade has been Dr. Robert Monaco. He was the head physician for all sports at Rutgers University, 10 minutes from us, right? So he's been a tremendous resource. He's been doing it forever. He's become a really good friend. We've got a lot of mutual clients at this point. It's in the Bridgewater area still to this day, keeping us on top of every new modality that pops out from a medical standpoint. By the second week, we have a full medical integration day where we literally shut the program down on a Wednesday, and we will have Dr. Monaco here with a couple of his fellows. We'll have our entire physical therapy team here doing assessments. We'll have our chiropractic team doing assessments. We've got our massage therapist working on some of the guys based on those two assessments. We've got a sports psychologist who works with our guys to help not only prepare them or get their mind right for peak performance on one day, but also, from the interview standpoint, right? Interview prep, Wonderlic prep, those are, very important things. We do our functional movement screen, which is going to assess movement with these guys where we can just hone in on any asymmetries or hone in on any dysfunctions and movement patterns and be able to assess that. And then once we gather all of that information on that one day, we come down into our conference room. We look at every single piece of information that we picked up from each kid, and we go from there and we make decisions based on, all right, who needs scripts? What's the action plan for this? How many physical therapy sessions is this person going to need? Do they need 2 days a week? Do they need 3 days a week? How do we work chiropractic into that? What is their nutrition plan like? What has it been like? What are some of their goals? Do they want to gain weight? Do they want to lose weight? Some of that stuff depends on agent feedback and what scouts are saying in terms of what they need to be. But from my standpoint, weight is such a relative number where body composition means so much more. So, if you're a skill guy and you're 15% body fat, but you're at the weight they want, you're not going to be as fast, as quick, and as agile as someone who, is maybe 8% at the same weight. So speed is going to play an issue. Obviously, knowing the game is an issue, but I think from a medical standpoint, we spend an entire day focused on regeneration, right? So we've got hot and cold tubs in the facility. We just added an infrared sauna this year. Obviously, the physical therapy that's there, where we've got stim, heat, ice, class 4 lasers, game ready units. We've just become an elite facility for Theragun for our 20-year anniversary. So, we've got all of these tools in the toolbox to take care of, these bumps and bruises that these guys have kind of picked up along the way. And ideally, if we can correct some of those movement patterns, and make those nagging issues that have been nagging for years and years to finally go away forever, this process isn't just about getting a guy into the league, but it's about getting them to stick, because most of these guys are going to make most of their money in their second contract, right? We got Bart Scott in the house that'll tell you that all day. A guy who's an undrafted free agent in the league for, umpteen years. We won't say exactly how many because he feels like an old man now, but he'll let us know. He'll let us know every day that he'll, outwork anybody in the room. So it's always good that his mind is young. But that's a big part of it. And I think because the combine, a third of the combine is medical, you have to have, it's not even an option in my opinion, where, you don't have that kind of medical integration into a program like this, because you can go to the combine and get medically flagged and not even be able to run.
Yeah.
Right. That's happened very, very rarely on our side, but it's still there. And we try to get guys back as quickly as possible, but it's outside of being Wolverine. We've got we've got one of the fastest rehab components that I think is out there in the country. When Zach, I don't know if you remember Zach Mettenberger, the quarterback from LSU, right? He had ACL and PCL surgery on January 2nd. We had him running around at his pro day, throwing the ball to Odell and Jarvis on April 9th.
Wow, amazing.
January 2nd surgery, April 9th pro day. All right, so that to me kind of speaks volumes of the level of like mutual integration between not only us but also Dr. Bankston, who did the surgery, to his athletic trainer at LSU, to what we were doing here with our physical therapy crew, then transitioning him to do one-on-one sessions with me, and then kind of back into the field with the group. That was that's a very well orchestrated, seamlessly integrated process that needs to happen for guys like this that have the opportunity to play in the league, because this opportunity doesn't come around twice.
You got that right. It's funny, when a fan thinks of the combine, they think of 40 times. When anyone in the NFL thinks about the combine, they think medical checks. It's such an underrated part of the entire process.
Right.
All right, so KD, last question, man, and the toughest one. In all your years in combine prep, 2 decades, who's your favorite player?
Wow. So, so that was a hard question, and you kind of prepped me with that about 10 minutes ago, and I had to think about it a little bit. And I think, some of the stuff that you go through in life allows you to think like more highly or more important things of, some players as they come in and out. It's absolutely a personal thing, but I can think of 2. But even one guy whose jersey is right behind me, Justin Hardy. He was a guy that was an East Carolina wide receiver, was a walk-on, right? Like wasn't highly recruited out of high school. He had his whole story and it's very well documented. He lost his father kind of going through that process, and he plays the game for him. Has a huge heart, is a great player, an even better person. I lost my dad about a year ago, and having gone through that, it's made me realize that much more how much this young man has gone through at his age, and having gone through that now is just kind of made me respect him even that much more. And I think there's a lot to be said about him. The other guy was Duron Harmon, who was was out of Rutgers. He's had a tremendous career in the NFL. He was a guy that was supposed to be like a 6th, 7th round, maybe free agent kind of guy, ended up going in the 3rd round. So, I got a special place in my heart for the Rutgers guys, because that's where I graduated from. And, I'm there. It's kind of like I'm playing the dual role of being a little bit of a fan, but also, taking care of these guys, through the draft prep process. And, of course, Sebastian Joseph Day, even last year, ended up at 300 pounds running a 4.9, and he's playing with the Rams right now. I mean, they're on pace for a Super Bowl this year, so it'd be great to see that happen. But I try to have the perspective of treating everyone as an individual, and it's never been about, massive numbers or, trying to get multiple locations even out there. But, for me, it's all about quality versus quantity, and being able to develop relationships and having the ratios where we do have, one coach to every 6 athletes as a max. And, for us, that's really important, especially during the combine process, because it still allows some of the competitiveness, but also you get that individual attention, which, what you're getting. And we've got guys that have been here for 15, 20 years. Having a guy like Otto Bolden, who's 4-time Olympic sprint medalist for Trinidad. He'll be doing his 6th Olympic Games as a commentator this year in Tokyo. So it's exciting. To have been blessed enough to meet some of the people that we've met along the way, the Chad Penningtons of the world, obviously Rich Soiberts of the world, even Pat Peterson Jr. He was another stud. Stephen Ridley was a stud. So. It's been great to get to know some of these guys on the level where they're not, you don't just see them on TV on Sundays, but they're actually real people looking for real results, real problems, real issues. And, you're just trying to use my 44 years of being on this earth to spread some knowledge and just from experience, right? I mean, nothing can replace that at the end of the day. So, we're just passionate to be the best. I'm not, I don't think anyone wakes up in the morning and tries to be number two at what they do, right? You just want to be the best and sink everything you have into it to be, to be recognized as an industry leader. And, I'm honored to be in that position. I take that role very seriously. But, at the end of the day, we all need to set the bar for ourselves and just try to continue to get better and, be as passionate about this, this process as possible. And it's, we all get fired up about it. It's our Super Bowl, it's our moment. And, having guys that have been so supportive for so long has been just an awesome experience and opportunity for us, and had a great 20 years, and we're looking forward to the next 20.
I get it, man. I get it. All right. So, Katie, tell them, an agent, a player, a parent, anyone who wants to know more information about Test, what's the best way to go about that?
Yeah, you can check us out on our website at testfootballacademy.com. You can obviously call the facility direct at 732-271-1000. We got our Instagram account at @test_football, Facebook account, Test Football Academy, Twitter account at @test_football. So we're popping up a lot of stuff, a lot of relevant stuff along the way. And, you can call the facility. I usually call you back personally and, try to, connect on that personal level. I will be the one to return most of these calls. Gare Goodmanson, who's also the director of football operation, is another guy that is incredibly supportive as well. And he'll be returning calls as well. But it's another guy who was out of the University of Albany, was in our very first combine class, went through the process, knows it well, was an offensive lineman, and was last year was inducted into the Hall of Fame at Albany. So he's done a lot of great things, played in the NFL for a bit and AFL for a while, and then came to us. He's been working with us ever since. So, just guys that have been seasoned for a long time, been in the process, understand it, get it, and, looking forward to the future.
Perfect. Katie, thanks so much, man. Thanks for being part of the ITL family. Have a great day, man.
You're the man, Neil. Way to go. Talk to you soon.
Bye, man.